Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. Ulrike, is that correct? Dietmann
Mhm.
is going to talk to us, and her company is Spirit Horse. Um, she has been speaking to animals her whole life. And I'm fascinated because I now speak to dragons. We'll talk about that later. So welcome.
Thank
Tell
you,
tell
Gail.
us a little bit about what it's like to be someone who talks and hears the animals.
To be someone, mm, you're someone that has a perception that is finer than most people. You see more than most people, and you're more empathic. Like you can read people, you can read animals. You're intuitive. Your perception is intuitive before it becomes rational. I think that is the main difference because most people are in a rational perception.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. So let's touch a little bit about seeing and hearing what most people don't. I reposted today a meme, if you will, that I posted a year ago
Mhm.
about how much we really don't see and how much we really don't hear, right?
Mhm.
It's a scientific fact. And the reason I reposted it was because, I posted it and then I didn't think much of it. And then I started writing a book about
Mhm.
dragons. And one of the chapters, the first chapter, is to remind people that they don't see everything, they
Mhm.
don't hear everything. So who's to say they're not real when every culture in the world has dragons?
Mhm. Mhm.
Someone has seen and heard dragons. So
Mhm.
just open your mind. It was just like, just open your mind.
Mhm.
And then a dear friend of mine's son works for a company who are creating technology to see those things.
Really?
Yes,
Okay, interesting.
yes, yes. I'm going to see him in a couple of weeks and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
like dig into what's going on here. So, and so that's so fascinating that you've, because of not being um, deprogrammed, shall we say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you have been able to hang on to a natural ability I think we all have.
It's a natural ability. Yeah, everybody has it. It's just covered up by civilization.
Yes, yes. So let's talk about that because you weren't involved with civilization for a very long time and so thought this was natural. So talk about your childhood and then the first time that you realized that, oh, not everybody talks to animals.
Oh, yeah. I grew up in a very remote country town in southern Germany. My granddad had horses. I was hanging around with him, horses, and yeah, spent a lot of time in nature. I did not know much about the world out there. I was 11 years old when I was in a big city for the first time in Munich, and and I was really shocked. I was feeling the people, and I thought, man, they're all sick. That honestly, that was my thought.
That they're all sick.
Yeah, they're all sick. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was really shocked. And I guess it was that's a thread through my life, and that still is a perception that civilization takes away big parts of our self-healing, of our intuition, of our confidence and empowerment, self-empowerment. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my mission now to bring it back to people because we all have it. Yeah.
I just love it. So I actually went through a process where because I hear voices. I call them my committee, right? And I know that we all do. And it at one point I had a conversation like, am I hearing you or am I hearing me? Right?
Yeah.
And the
That's
response was, does it matter?
mm-hmm.
Right? And
Uh-huh.
it's the judgment, it's the needing
Yeah.
to understand
Yeah.
that gets in the way.
Yeah, yeah, because what you actually hear is your own voice. When you speak with an animal, it's about a relationship. There's no objective truth. That's the mistake that most people make. They think there's an objective truth to be found out, like in science. No, it's a connection. It's a very individual connection between you and a certain animal. And even if it's a dragon or a spirit animal, it's a very personal connection, and it's a connection in the moment too. It's not repeatable.
Yes, it's not repeatable. I
Yeah.
love that you said that. Um, so think about this for a minute, guys. Everything is energy, and yes, that's how I work. I work with people understanding that they're energy and how to maneuver and understand what's going on energetically. And because everything is energy, it is never the same.
Mm-hmm.
It is never the same. We change moment by moment. You and I are co-creating right now, and you and I are changing, right?
Yeah.
With every vibration that we send out, and anyone who's listening
Yeah.
is changing,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, that's
Right?
obvious.
Right? Right.
Yeah.
And um, even if you're not listening, the sound waves, the energy that we create never stops. It is out in the universe
Yeah. Yeah.
forever and ever.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what you learn from animals. When you start talking with animals, that's what they're gonna show you. That's what they're gonna have you experience. And that's why I like talking with animals, because it's some being outside of the human perception, outside of the human world, that will tell you these exact things that are for us advanced science. Yeah.
Yes, yes, for us, it's advanced science, right? And I honestly think science is just finally proving what woo-woo people always knew was
Yeah, or our ancestors, or you can just read the Bible. Everything is in the Bible. Animal communication is in the Bible too. Yeah.
so let me share a story with you. It's in my book that I'm writing.
Okay.
It's a true story, and I'm just going to tell part of it. The rest of it's in the book. But
Mm-hmm.
it was at church, and there was a horse in a corral, and a
Mm-hmm.
cowboy came on, and his sermon, if you will, was all
Mm-hmm.
about connection and communication
Mm-hmm.
using the God heart. And at one point, this was a horse that had never been ridden, right? 3 years
Mm-hmm.
old. He was on his knees in front of the horse,
Mm-hmm.
and the horse and him were eye to eye, and he
Mm-hmm.
was bawling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Ugh.
that one. I know that one. Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
it was, and I sat there and I thought, I hope, I mean, I know the place was like you could hear a pin drop,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lesson here. There's a lesson this man was trying to demonstrate, right? And the lesson is the animals know it's love.
Yeah. It's
It,
love.
it's just love,
It's
right? Right?
true love. True love.
Yes, not
Mhm.
egoic love,
No.
not dependent love,
No.
not expectation. Love is not an exchange.
No.
There is an exchange
There's
because
an
energy, right?
There's an exchange of energy. Yeah, that is very authentic and very precise. Yeah, but it's not measured.
No,
It's
no,
not
and
like
it's not
you
me
give
giving you love and you're going to give me
no,
love back. It's
no.
not. It's not that at all. Um, I've done some work in the past on soul work and Akashic records. And one of the things that was very evident during that training was that karma is immediate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's during that training that I understood it's one thing to understand in your head, but another thing to viscerally, physically understand that karma has no judgment
Mm-hmm.
because
No,
it's pure energy. Energy has no judgment. There
no.
is no judgment,
There's
right?
no judgment. No, God has no judgment.
Right,
No, it just
right.
is. It's the I am. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, so what do you do with the animals now? Tell us a little bit about some of the experiences you've had.
with animals, what you can do with animals. Mm, there's basically two things. You can do healing if healing is needed, and you can do exponential growth. You can do very fast growth because the information that you get is so pure. It's what you get from animals is very pure information that's not clouded by human interpretation or analysis. It's very straight and direct. And if you follow it, your life is going to move forward at speed, lightning, but it's going to move into the direction of who you are and what your soul wants to manifest in this world. So you're not going to go on all these paths of I have to be successful to make money, to impress people, to prove myself. You're going the direct soul path with animals, and you're going to have a very interesting life. That's what I can say about myself.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of years ago, I went through a cancer journey,
Hmm.
and at that time, I had two pets. Now this one, and during radiation, my cat kept rubbing up against,
Hmm.
right, and I know that he was trying to help me heal, and I
Hmm.
kept pushing him away because he was an old cat. I'm like, you can't handle this, you can't handle this.
Yeah.
Um, and he
Oh,
just insisted. Yep.
no, 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 no. That's the false thought. Yeah,
Okay, good. Tell me.
absolutely. That's the mistake that most people make. Like, especially when they're sick, they're telling the animal you can't handle this, or they feel guilty. They feel guilty. They think, oh, I cannot connect with the animal because I'm so sick, and the animal's going to take on my energy because it's so empathic, and then I'm going to ruin the animal. No, no. Animals are much stronger than we are. That's the truth. They're much stronger. If they come, they're natural healers.
Yeah.
They 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 just do it because that's the natural state of being, is that we're all healers. We're all
Yes.
healing each other. That's our natural being. We have just cut it up into, hospitals and doctors, and you're sick and you're healthy. No, if the collective is sick, everybody is sick. It's not there. There's no boundary. So what animals do when they feel that somebody is going through a process, sickness is nothing but going through a transformation
Right.
process. So they feel where you are in your process, and they're going to connect, and they're going to move your process forward, because healing is just moving the process forward. And because animals are so in the process all the time, because being in the process is the natural state of being, because the universe is in a transformation. All the God is transforming all the time.
All
So
the time.
we just step into that flow, and the animals, they take us into that flow. And once we're in that flow, the healing comes on its own. And I see that, or when I work with animals and people, then when it's about healing, I see that all the time. It's a lot of time it's instant healing.
You
Because
know, so both animals, when I was going through chemo, were all over me, laying next to me or on me or whatever.
yeah.
Um, and there were other things that I did. I did a lot of homeopathic stuff. And when I was done, the oncologist said, I don't know what you're doing,
Mm,
but you don't need anything. You can go home,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm,
And I know that they were part of the process, right? They were part of my ability to navigate through. Plus, I did a lot of soul searching
yeah.
and a lot of,
Yeah.
I
Mm,
picked this story to play out,
yeah.
right? So I'm going to lean in, I'm not going to fight it,
Yeah.
right? And that's the whole thing about energy is drop the resistance and
Yeah.
allow the flow to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't direct the flow.
Or misdirect the flow because it's like the ocean. You can try to redirect it, but it's not going to.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time if the moon can move the ocean, what makes you think it doesn't have an effect on you?
Uh-huh.
Right? Right? Because the planets, the pull has an impact because we're mostly water
Yeah.
and space. We're water and space. Yeah. Yeah. That allows water allows energy to conduct,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, it's interesting to talk to you, Gail. Yeah, there's not many people who get that. That's why I teach it, but it's not many people yet. I think people will get it sooner or later because it absolutely makes sense and because it's so helpful and because it's so independent of any, medicine or it's self-healing. It's you find out what you have inside and then you use it.
and your body looks for equilibrium all the time,
Yeah, it does.
right? And so I'll give a recent, like today example, actually last couple of days. So I did a road trip recently, and because of sitting in the car, I had a pinched nerve. So I knew it wasn't a hip problem. I knew exactly what was going on, and I did some leg pulls and whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it alone and
Mm-hmm.
let my body heal. And then I heard put some heat on it tonight. I put some heat on it, and now it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Right. So
Most things are much more simple than we think. Yeah. Much
yeah,
more. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Give it a chance. Give it a chance and trust. Right?
Yeah.
And trust. So let's get back to the animals because they fascinate me. They absolutely fascinate me. Um, I think I know what my pets are thinking
Mm-hmm.
almost all of the time. I'll make up stories with us. Oh, so
Mm-hmm.
you want me to blah 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 blah. Well, let's go ahead and let's go do that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the dog, because that's what we have now is the dog. She knows when, like, if she's sound asleep, and I'll be like, well, I have a meeting coming up, so if you want to go out, you have to wake up and we'll go out now. And she gets up and we go out,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? And she's just
Very,
as
they're very
happy.
connected. Yeah. They're always connected. They're not disconnected. And when they meet people that are disconnected, like most people are, that's tough for them.
Well, they're trying to communicate.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example, folks, of a friend of mine whose son is very autistic, um, and can't communicate. And they found a technology that works for his son, where it's, computer hookup, but his son is able to say what he needs now. Can you imagine being locked up and not being able to get out what it is that you want? Of course you get frustrated. Of course you get angry, right? Because, like, why don't you understand me? I understand you, right? Um,
Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's
right?
for most animals that live with humans. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's the same thing. You know, um, Guys, I don't know, if you have a pet, do you just look into their eyes? Just look into their eyes. Um, so I'm writing a book about dragons, right? And I'm almost done with the book. I'm then going to write a meditation for each dragon,
Mm-hmm.
right? As for an interaction, if you want to, with each dragon. And when I do dragon meditations, and when I do them, whatever dragon that we call in, I have the person connect with the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it is hold the dragon's face and look into her eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pet the dragon because they're not scaly. Pet the dragon, right? And think about what it is that you're feeling. Get on the dragon and what does it feel like to be on the dragon, right? Sometimes we'll fly the dragon, right? Um, I have a chapter where I talk about the wind knocking me off and the dragon adjusting so I don't fall off, right? Right? What would it be like if I was on a dragon that took off, right? I would be almost falling off, right? Right? And the dragon being intuitive enough to be sure to do whatever it needed to do to keep me seated. Horses are like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? When a horse trusts you enough to allow you to get on its back and take you where you want to go, that is trust,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is a belief that you're not going to harm me, and we will do this thing together,
Mm,
right?
mm, yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of, give me an example of a client that you worked with who felt that they maybe didn't understand what was going on with their animal, and what happened when you spent some
Okay,
time.
I have a good story that happened last week. The woman had a cat, and the cat was sick and was losing weight and was not eating anymore, not drinking, and also it was straying away. And she went to the doctor, and the vet said that there was something with the stomach. But we went into the communication with the cat, and what showed up was that the woman had had a dog in her childhood when she was a teenager. And the dog was sick and dying, and the family didn't take care of it. And the dog was out there in the garden, and she was on the sofa, totally frozen, not being able to do anything to help the dog. And from that, she developed a very guilty consciousness all of her life about this frozen state and this dog. So what we did, we went into the dog. The dog is on the other side now. And we recreated the image that she had of the dog. She had the image of the dog of this poor dog is dying and I can't help it. That was the story that was in the cells of her body. And these stories that we carry in our body, they guide our lives.
Animals as well as people.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's the stories that we have. So we tried to change the story. We got a new image from that. We communicate with the dog that's on the other side, and and animals that are on that side, they're usually very happy out there, just like people, because
Hmm.
they don't have all the pain of the life here on the planet. So she receives this image of this, dog being really happy, and she can recreate the story of what happened, a story that was kind of, yeah, guiding her whole life, being a limiting belief in all kinds of areas of her life. And the next day she writes me, you know what? The cat is eating again, the cat is drinking again. Because what animals do, they have these traumas and they play them out to make them visible for you so you can process them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can access that, then the animal will be good and it's good.
Yeah. And the cat that I had um was a feral cat kitten. And when I got him, he had been declawed, fixed, and a tooth taken out all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had become super sensitive, which means like you can't pet very long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it aggravates him. So he would attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so I did some research. Well, what does this mean? What do I do with this, right? Um, and online they had no answers as to they don't know why this happens, except that they think it's the oversensitivity. So I started just watching the cat.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was starting to get a little aggravated, I could see the tail or whatever, and I would stop,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if he wanted more, I would have to say no because he needed to calm down a little bit. And sometimes I wasn't watching and he would
Mm-hmm.
attack, but I would put him into timeout. So
Mm-hmm.
he learned,
Mm-hmm.
right, himself. So there was no like being
Yeah.
mad at him. I mean, why be angry,
Yeah.
right? Right? There's no reason. And it's really kind of funny because he would start and I would just point to him and he'd back up and put himself into timeout,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Until they
Yeah.
calm
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
right?
Let me tell you something here, because that is a very, very important experience with animals. For animals, everything is energy, and it starts with energetic boundaries. I had a
Yeah.
woman with the same situation. This woman, she was animal therapist, and this cat was coming to her from somewhere from the wild. And this cat was like that. He was with her, and then suddenly he would attack and really hurt her. So what she did, she she perceived. She did the training with me, and she would perceive when the aggression would rise, just like you did. And
Yep.
in that moment, she set a boundary, a very clear boundary. So the cat couldn't even come close because when it was close, it was already too close for the cat.
Yep.
So she had to keep the cat at a distance and train him at the distance. You do that with horses too. So the cat can find out how to manage these energies, because if animals are traumatized like this animal, this cat you're talking about is heavily traumatized, heavily. So his boundaries are totally destroyed. So he has to learn to set boundaries again, just like a trauma person.
Hmm.
Yeah, and once they learn that and be sensitive about that, now the cat comes into her lap and no
Yep.
more attacking, nothing.
Oh
And that,
yeah, but
that's
that
a
cat
very,
laid on my lap all the time. You
yeah,
know, what I missed when he passed away was he would wake me up in the morning with the headbutts, right? And I'd be like, I have a permanent bruise from you. But he'd be
yeah,
like, yeah, you slept long enough, time to get up.
yeah, yeah,
Right? So they're fun. They can be such a joy,
yeah,
you know. So much love. So I
yeah,
mean, it people talk about unconditional love from animals, but I don't think they understand.
not really. Most people don't really understand. Or
No,
I guess they feel it, but they don't know what it really is. And because they don't know what it really is, it's a lot of it is projection on the animal. They project their needs and unfulfilled needs for love on the animal.
onto the animal. Yeah.
Yeah, and that becomes difficult.
And the animal knows the difference. So
Yeah.
the dog in this house is my daughter's dog, and she must have been 8 or 9 when I moved in, and so she's what, close to 15 now. And in the morning, she comes down the stairs. My daughter and her go out. She comes in and she sits next to me on the couch.
Hmm.
If she's sitting with my daughter on the couch in the morning, if I come down and sit down, she gets up and sits next to me on the couch. Right. The other morning, we have an ottoman, walked across the couch onto the ottoman onto where I was. Right. Because I'm with her all day long. So I'm her primary all day long. Right. And so that's the relationship that she's accustomed to all day long. But at night, I just say, it's time for you to go with mama. And she looks at me and I'm like, yes, it's time. And she goes, right?
Hmm.
It literally is me pointing and saying, it's time. And then she goes, right?
Yeah.
No training. The first time I had a dog from a puppy, I can't even tell you, how did you train the dog? I don't know. She just did what I wanted her to do. If we played catch, I didn't bend down for the ball. She would put it in my hand.
Hmm.
She didn't do that with anyone else, right?
Hmm.
But I'd be like, put it here. Okay, let's go. Where do you want it? Oh, I'll throw it that way, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So there's a way for you the animals know when it's not real. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they do.
They know when it's not
They do to a degree that is shocking.
real.
I
Uh,
have a training group, annual training group, and the people that are in there is every Friday we meet and they say Friday is payday because you meet the animals and the all the stuff that was happening in the week and all the stories that you made up in your mind about what was happening. The animals are gonna cut through the truth. Yeah.
yes, yes, and that's another thing. It really would. I don't want to be broad, but yes, clients that I work with, let's put it that way, um, have not yet faced themselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I say that I work with people who are going through the dark side,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they're afraid, and that they're afraid to work with me because I'm going to shine a light on what
Mm-hmm.
they've been hiding from their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always a beautiful experience, by the way, guys. It's never what you think it is. Um, And it really is facing yourself with love,
Mm.
right? And really meaning it,
Yeah.
really, really meaning it. Because um, honestly, if I don't love me, how can I expect anyone else to love me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I was telling my daughter the other day that I really make a conscious effort. Now, am I 100%? No. But I make a conscious effort to make choices from love,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I'm not making a choice from my heart, then I'm making a choice from my ego.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always the wrong choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Right? Right. And animals don't make choices from ego. They'll make choices from
Yeah.
protection,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
that's the first thing they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-protection. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And my experience with animals is they just want to play. They just want to play, right? They just want to enjoy the
Yeah.
moment, enjoy life.
They enjoy it very much. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
They
if,
don't stress themselves. They don't, they're relaxed. They're connected. They feel loved. Yeah, they find their food. They're focused. They're goal oriented. Yeah.
yeah,
They have
yeah,
good life. Most of them, if we're not too close to humans, especially then they have a very good life.
yeah, yeah,
If they live close to him, that's my mission. I want to train people, humans. Humans have to, wake up and develop consciousness and feel real love. Then it gets better for the animals.
yes, yes, yes. I did a meditation where I literally connected with what I call Gaia. Gaia is like where the core of the earth is versus the earth, right? So the Gaia energy, right?
Hmm.
And really pulled that up and up while pulling universal energy down because they're different
Hmm.
energies. And it really um, is important for me to, so I'm looking at the trees, for me to understand that connection
Hmm.
that I have um, frequently when I pull someone into meditation, I will say, you're breathing in life force energy,
Hmm.
which Mother Earth gives to you.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you're breathing out compassion,
Hmm.
which Mother Earth needs to live.
Hmm.
Understand that when you're breathing in and you're breathing out, you are symbiotically living with Mother Earth,
Hmm.
right? That you are one with nature,
Hmm.
and it was intended to be that way,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Right. And so the meditation, we get into a, a trance, if you will, based on connection with with being here.
Hmm.
Yeah. And animals just know that. You
Hmm.
don't have to be taught that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you live now? And like, are you in the city? Are you in the country? And how does that impact the work that you do? And how do you work with people versus animals? Multiple questions.
I live in Jamaica.
Oh,
Yeah. I've migrated to Jamaica because of the energy, because it's really outside of civilization. It's like 60 years back. There's animals on the street. The nature is very vibrant. It's and the people have a different mindset. It's a whole different culture, and it's a culture that makes me relax, where I feel at home.
hmm.
Yeah, that's really important for me. The environment that I have.
Right.
Um, I go back to Europe once in a while. I do workshops there with horses, but I work mostly online with people. I coach people online. I teach online. I take people through the processes. I connect them with their animal or a spirit animal, and have them feel the animal as their teacher and take them through the process. Yeah, that's most of my work. and I'm
Yeah.
a writer. I've written many books, and yeah, I keep writing. And I'm a researcher. I research, like, for me it's interesting to see the culture in Jamaica and the culture in Europe, and what the elements are that bring healing and that give people peace of mind. Because in Jamaica it's a no problem culture. And most people think it's superficial, but no, the no problem is something very deep. They have
Yes.
very, very deep skill of, for example, how they deal with trauma. There's a lot of trauma here. There's childhood labor and poverty, but people deal with it very quick, like animals. They go through the trauma real quick, and then they're back into no problem, just a situation. They live in this no.
Because that's all it is.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, yeah. When I work with clients, it's about detaching the story that
yeah,
you attach to the emotion because it's the story that is deflecting the
yeah,
moment, right? Um, Stop trying to understand it, like all of the human things that we do. It's like unraveling all of that stuff and just be in the emotion
yeah,
and don't do anything about it, but be in the emotion because it
yeah,
only lasts 90 seconds.
yeah, yeah,
So I tell my clients if it's lasting more than that, then it's the story that you're attaching to it or resistance.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's how we cause our own pain, right? Because every moment we started off with every moment's a new moment, right?
Mm,
We're a different person, moment by moment by moment, because we're learning and we're growing and we're co-creating,
mm,
right? And so if I take a past or potential future issue into this moment, I'm cheating myself of this moment,
mm,
right?
mm,
Right? And why would I want to do that? That's more precious than a dollar.
mm. There's
It's
something interesting that I'm studying right now when you talk about the future, like taking the future in into the present moment. There's, it depends on what kind of future. Is it a fearful view of the future? Is it a fear of failure, for example, that you're
right.
taking into the present moment and that keeps you from moving forward where you're called to go? Or do you feel the future that's calling you? And when I look at the animals, I had a client and she had a vision of a horse. She saw the horse, the breed, the height, the color, everything. And she said to me, I don't want another horse in my life, but this vision is just there. The image was so, so clear. And 2 years later, she walks into a stable and she sees this exact horse. And she goes to the stable manager and said, can I measure the height of this horse? It was the exact height, that the number that she got in the vision. And that's an example for that animals live in the non-linear time. And I've experienced that a lot, that they foresee things, like
Hmm.
with them, they will tell you a future. So on that level, yes, the future is part of the present, but not the linear time, not the projected future that we project from the present self or identity or situation.
Right. It's the future presented to us versus the future we're trying
Exactly.
to manifest, right?
And that's what I work with when I work with people that want to reach goals or manifest or live their dream. That's what I work with a lot. That the future that's there to perceive it intuitively and then go into that state of being pulled towards the future, not with effort, but with perception. And then you're going to do the right steps, and then the magic comes because the doors will open and the people and the opportunities show up. And that is the greatest fun. That is the
Um,
great.
Unbelievable. When I first started doing this kind of work, um, I was in business with someone. It was coaching, but it was business coaching and process improvement and all that kind of stuff, which I'm very good at, by the way. Um, but I took some training in life coaching because I wanted to understand how to relate to people better. And I
Mhm.
thought this would help me. I think it was class number one. It's like the universe grabbed hold of my gut and started pulling me forward. Like, this is, not necessarily life coaching per se, but this kind of thing is what you're here for.
Mhm.
And my business partner at the time said, what you're doing now is not really what we had intended to do in business. I said, well, it is related. And she said, no, I really don't see how it is. I would like you to stop. And I said, you don't understand. It is not up to me.
Mhm.
Right. And that's what when the future is pulling you, right? And I kind of feel that now, not so much the pulling, but I see I see stones rising in the water and me taking a step on the stone and then waiting for the next. So it's waiting for what opportunity is coming. Oh, there it is. Step on the stone, right? With no preconceived idea as to what that means. I just know that it's the right thing for me to show up to do what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. Yeah, that's how it is.
Oh, so if people wanted to know more about you, where can they connect with you and learn more?
I have a website, Soul Healing with Animals. No, the website is myname.com.
Okay, I've got that. And by the way, all of the stuff will be in the show notes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
they'll define contact information.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. And guys, this is not the first. I call you, Mrs. Doolittle's, someone who speaks to animals. It's not the first time that we've had a conversation. Um, but to really reach out to someone who has done this from birth, who there's no choice because it's who you are. This is, Ulrich is the one to connect with.
Yeah, thank you. Gail. And Gail, I'm gonna do an interview with you, and we're gonna talk about dragons.
Oh,
I'll do that now. Because I'm interested in your dragon experience. I have some dragons sometimes, but yeah, you're much deeper into the dragon connection.
yeah. Yeah. So one mine, like while we were talking, wrapped his head around and was like watching you.
Right.
Hi. He's very nosy and very curious as to what's going on.
Cool, very cool.
So thank you so much for your time. And thank you, folks, for listening to us on the Empowering Process podcast. If this interests you, give us a thumbs up. If you have a question, put it in the comments. We'll be happy to get back to you. If you know someone who could learn from this, and I bet you do, share it out. And as always, do subscribe so you know when the next episode is available. Thank you, everybody.
Mhm. Peace and
Bye.
love.
Thank you for listening to the Empowering Process podcast. Be sure to visit Gail at gailcraft.com to learn more about how she serves thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and goal seekers. And remember, if you like this broadcast, be sure to share and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.